Hey guys, welcome to Chiro Talk. And today I want to share with you some great information about what we do as chiropractors and how it affects the body and the physiology dramatically in overall health. So what I'm going to do is on a weekly basis or thereabouts, I'm going to kick out some videos that will identify the research, the science that shows exactly what's happening in the body in regards to our physiology in response to getting the nervous system healthy with chiropractic care. So today I want to share a study with you, and it came out in 1992, and it was in the Journal of Chiropractic Research. And what it did was it checked, or was titled, The Impact of Chiropractic Care on Cardiac Risk Factors. It's a great study, and I want to share it with you. And it was actually performed on chiropractic students. And the study wasn't about back pain, it wasn't about neck pain, it wasn't about headaches. What they wanted to do was evaluate how the body responded by reducing subluxation in a positive way with cardiac factors. In other words, how by eliminating interference to the nervous system did it affect the heart in a positive way. And in this case, what does that mean? Well, heart disease is one of the #1 diseases to kill Americans. And when you study that, you start to hear everything about lipid profile, right? Cholesterols and HDL and LDL and VLDLs and triglycerides, and how these components in our blood can greatly affect the health of the cardiovascular system, thereby causing us an earlier death, right? Strokes, heart attacks, and so forth. So when we look at that, how does adjusting the spine, how does getting your spine realigned or adjusted, how does it affect that? And to kind of fast forward it for a moment in the study, what happened? Well, what they did is they adjusted several students and followed them over the period of a year or longer. And they wanted to assess, by getting the adjustments to their spine and not making any other changes in their health, nutritionally, exercise, and so forth, what impact did it have on their lipids. And what they found is that it had a significant change in the cardiac risk factors. What that means is the HDLs came up, as we define it as the good cholesterol, though there's really no such thing as good or bad cholesterol, but the cholesterol that was healthier for us at a higher level got higher, which is the HDL, the high densoproteins, right, or densolipoproteins, and the low densolipoproteins, the LDLs, dropped. The VLDLs dropped, and the triglycerides dropped. So that would be dramatic. In fact, one of the main reasons people take different drugs, the #1 drug in the United States is like a Lipitor or statin drug, right? But isn't that amazing that you could actually create the same benefit by reducing the amount of misalignment in your spine? And that's only one of many, a whole myriad of different physiologic benefits you get by reducing the subluxation or misalignment in your spine. So what's happening there in my final moments here? What's actually happening physiologically? Well, what happens, what we know scientifically, neurologically, is that if the spine becomes rigid, if the spine becomes stuck, if the spine becomes misaligned and fixed, and it interferes with the nervous system, okay, those are our two components to classify a subluxation, it now becomes subluxated. So in becoming subluxated, the sympathetics, the part of your neurology that causes your body in a fight or flight system, that tends to elevate, because as the nervous system becomes sicker or less able to do its job from subluxation by pressing on it, the brain can't communicate to the body as well. What happens is the sympathetics become more active than they should. We lose the ability to regulate them, and now I become in a physiological state of stress. So just as if I got into an argument with somebody and I was angry with somebody, you can feel that physiologic stress, right? Heart rate starts to increase, and my breathing starts to decrease, and my heart output starts to increase, and my stomach starts to feel kind of funny, right? Because that actually starts to get shut down a little bit, and my immune system starts to get shut down, and all my blood starts to change its direction, if you will, its focus in different areas of the body. All this stuff starts to happen when I'm in a state of stress. Well, what else happens is cortisol, which is a chemical released by the body, by the adrenal gland, that starts to elevate. So cortisol level goes up. Well, when cortisol level goes up, what happens is I start making a lot of cholesterol, or I start making more cholesterol, I think is a more accurate way to say it. And what happens is I start to make more LDLs. And there's reasons for that. My body's preparing for battle, it's preparing for energy transport, and it's preparing for repair, which is what cholesterol is for, along with many other things. But so cholesterol is very good for the body. But what happens is, as I get into a state of stress from subluxation, my cholesterol levels start to increase. My LDLs go up, my VLDLs go up, my triglycerides start to go up, right? So we can do that by being subluxated, by being in a neurologic state of stress, or a physiologic state of stress caused by pressure to the nervous system, caused by mechanical biology. Great study, Annals of Medicine, on mechanical biology, if you get a chance to look that up. So they took a group of students and they put them under chiropractic care. They identified specifically where the spine was out of alignment. They used a series of adjustments, and over the period of a year or longer, as they took blood from these students, they noticed that with regular care, their cholesterol profile and or lipid profile, and most importantly, their cardiac factor, risk factor, dropped significantly. So the likelihood of them developing heart disease, or developing heart attack, or cardiovascular problems, or stroke, or what have you, drops significantly. Now, if we think about it, if we step back, now who could benefit from that? Certainly anybody can benefit from that, right? We think about when heart disease starts. It starts at a young age, 15, 16, 17 years old is when we're starting to see changes in the vascularity of teenagers. And then what happens is we follow them along. What we see is significant changes that occur in the 20s, 30s, and 40s and beyond. So if you start thinking about that 40, 50, 60, or 70-year-old senior or older, when they come in, think about how rigid their spine is. Think about just neurologically how that's affecting them from a cardiovascular standpoint, how that's affecting their cardiac risk factor, just from that one study. And if we look at that, just quickly, if we look at that, and I'm going to review those studies in the next few weeks, we're going to see that it affects their immune system dramatically from being subluxated, by affecting the sympathetics, thereby putting them into a chronic state of stress as a result of the mechanical aspect of the biology and physiology caused by misalignment and subluxation. It's very, very dramatic. So when you adjust somebody, you're not only reducing pressure that can alleviate certain symptoms, no doubt. There's no doubt about that. But I'll tell you what's happening at a much deeper level. You're greatly affecting their ability to regulate and control, sustain and maintain, transform their level of physiology, and affect their level of homeostasis. And again, the cumulative effect of that, by keeping people under regular care long term, decade after decade after decade, is life changing. It is life changing. And I think what's amazing when people go often to our events, whether it be CAs or our events, many times we have people come in that aren't in healthcare, but they want to learn more about their health. They're certainly open to them. Or we learn about docs who come in. One of the things, the elements of our events that I find they get very excited about is the science. I think we don't realize how much science there is to not only justify, but create a mandate for what you do every single day. You have a mandate. It is your responsibility to share with everyone you see the benefits of keeping their nervous system by keeping their spine healthy, strong, and straight. That's really our responsibility. How they choose to take it, digest it, utilize it, that's up to them. But don't let it negate or weaken your responsibility. And I think by learning more about the science and how to apply it day in and day out in the office will make a dramatic change in what you say and what you don't say. It'll make a significant change on you taking an action to communicate the message so that every man, woman, senior, child, father, uncle, cousin, co-worker, friend that you see in your practice can benefit from the amazing results of what you do as a chiropractor every single day. Be proud, be excited. Change the health and life of every individual in your office every single day with enjoyment and enthusiasm. And together as chiropractors, which is what we need to do, we gotta come together as chiropractors. Together as chiropractors, scientifically, physiologically, philosophically, metaphysically, spiritually, and through the art of what we do, we need to work together in an effort to make this world a better place for our children and those yet to be born. It'll be an honor working with you. I'll talk to you guys next week.
Best friend gave me the best advice. He said each day's a gift and not a given right.